What's up YouTube, Gemini Johnny back again with another compilation of the wildest conspiracy theory TikTok videos I can find. Join me every Tuesday for a creepy TikToks reaction, every Sunday for Sunday scaries, and for members only, Member Mondays, every day at 4:15 p.m. PST. Y'all know I love conspiracy theories. I might do a conspiracy theory iceberg series in the future. I don't know, but if that's something you want to see, let me know in the comments. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right in.
Have you ever heard of the lottery conspiracy theory? You know when you go inside of a gas station and you find lottery tickets and people buy them and they scratch them off in hopes of winning millions of dollars. What if I told you about the conspiracy theory that says the government created the lottery in order to catch time travelers? I know it sounds crazy, but just bear with me, it's going to make a lot of sense. Okay, so people believe the government created the lottery in order to catch time travelers. The chance of winning the lottery right now is about 1 in 14 million. So statistically, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. Now let's take a look at one of the most popular lotteries called the Mega Millions. You have a 1 in 300 million chance of winning this lottery. Or in other words, you would need to be struck by lightning 21 times back to back to back in order to win this lottery. So the odds of winning are nearly impossible, so that's why people believe the government created this in order to catch time travelers, is because the time travelers would know exactly where to go and exactly which one.
Or the government created the lottery so that they could have this massive fund that they can have at their disposal. Also, every one of those lottery winners, like 50% of the lottery winnings go to the government. So they win every lottery. Like, yeah, it's a 1 in 300 million chance for us to win the lottery. It's a 1 in 1 chance for the government to win the lottery every time. There doesn't have to be a conspiracy there. There's no conspiracy. They've rigged the system. They've rigged the game. And we know it. Like, it's not a conspiracy. The time traveler thing would be cool though. But yeah, it's probably just that they want the money that they get. Or how much money the government has gotten. Let's see something. How much money has the government made off of the lottery? Just for reference, in 2021, the federal government made 21... Wait, did I get that right? Hold on, make sure I got that right. No, I didn't get it right. Let me just read it. In 2021, state and local governments in the United States collected about 31.22 billion US dollars by lottery. In 1982, this value was much lower, standing at about 1.69 billion. So not exactly, but in 1982, they made about 2 billion a year. And it's went up roughly $1 billion a year since then. A little under, but whatever. So if they did set it up to catch time travelers, then they set it up right. They set it up so they win. Man, that's so much money. Is it into the trillions? It's gonna take me too long to do the math, but it's a lot of money.
This video recently surfaced, showing a mosquito which appears to have the number 38 written on it. And I mean, what the hell is this all about? Of course, this has started conspiracy theories all over the internet. One theory basically being that they're drones, you know, people that believe birds are drones. A lot of people actually believe pigeons, like every single pigeon is a drone. And get this, some people actually believe that the lockdown was staged by the government so they could replace all the bird/drones batteries. People are saying potentially this is like, I don't know, some government test or something, they're releasing some disease or whatever, who knows. The theory more believable, maybe they're doing tests on a group of mosquitoes and, you know, just put numbers on the back to categorize them or whatever. What makes it a bit creepier is that he didn't just find this one with a number on it, there was several the next day he found them, blah blah blah. But I mean, who knows, obviously it opens up the internet to a lot of theories, so let me know in the comments what you think, hit that follow button and I'll keep you updated.
It seems like you should have just, like, not to be gross, but dissected one. See if it has like robot parts in it or if it is just, you know, mosquito parts. Yeah, I mean, nanotechnology, if it's not here yet, it's right around the corner. So yeah, most likely they were testing mosquito, or like, you know, catching and numbering mosquitoes. Who even looks at a mosquito that close? And how do you catch a mosquito? There's so many questions. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, that looked like a big old mosquito. I think it's probably like this. Man, I don't know, maybe we just got small mosquitoes here in California, but look like a big mosquito now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know, I guess I haven't seen a mosquito in, well, no, that's not true. I saw some mosquitoes over the weekend, but I haven't seen like a lot of mosquitoes since last summer. But I'm trying to think, I don't think they're that big. Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome to the series where I'll explain all of these in 60 seconds or less. John McAfee is the creator of the McAfee antivirus software that literally changed the world as we know it. With his newfound wealth, he purchased an estimated $100 million worth of real estate. Then the housing market crashed in 2008 and he was forced to sell all of his homes for a whopping $5 million. He then moved to Belize and developed a huge drug addiction. While there, he got involved with a gang and even started his own police force. Months later, he claimed the government was trying to extort him for the remainder of his money, which later got him really big on cryptocurrency because it's decentralized. While this was going on, he was actively trying to expose the US and other countries' dark government secrets. This got so bad that he claimed 11 people tried to assassinate him, but he survived every single attempt. As if this couldn't get any weirder, one of his last tweets says, "The US is coming for me." He then tattooed whacked on his arm and said if anything happened to him, it wasn't him. 1 year later, they found him hanging in a prison cell. Do you think John was crazy, or do you think the government had him killed? Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video.
I did watch his, interview on Matt and Shane's Secret podcast. And the dude definitely seemed like he was, I don't know, somebody that tried to portray himself as like a larger than life individual. I don't know that he really was. I think he was probably pretty nerd smart and got a bunch of money and didn't know what to do with it and probably went crazy. I don't know. But it is really weird. It's pretty clear that you would never do that to yourself, and then you do that to yourself. Strange indeed. Can't wait till 40 years from now when the Freedom of Information Act lets us know exactly what happened to John McAfee and Jeffrey Epstein.
Scientists found something pretty terrifying at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, but they're keeping a huge secret. So years back, a group of scientists went down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. They went down because they wanted to find out what was really down there. They started the long descent, but when they reached the bottom, everything got very strange and out of hand. They started detecting a large anomaly on their detector, meaning that there was some kind of large creature or something nearby them, but they had no idea what it really was. And they started hearing a really loud sound, like a really low-pitched scream almost, hard to describe. But then out of nowhere, the anomaly just disappeared off of their radar and the sound just vanished. And the anomaly that they detected was huge, like absolutely colossal. So how the hell could it just vanish? And what was it?
This woman received mysterious calls for months before something terrible happened. In 1980, Dorothy Jane Scott began receiving threatening calls from an unidentified man. It got so bad she started taking karate classes and contemplated buying a gun. But then on May 28, 1980, coworkers witnessed her car recklessly speeding out of a parking lot. The next day, her car was found burning in an alleyway with no one inside. Then a week after her disappearance, her parents began receiving mysterious phone calls from a man that were too short to be traced. They got a phone call almost every Wednesday afternoon. This went on for 4 years, until Dorothy's skeletal remains were found buried along with the bones of a dog. After her remains were recovered, her parents received one last phone call from the man who said, "Is Dorothy home?"
Welcome to the series where I'll explain all of these in 60 seconds or less. Agartha is the theory that there is another world just beneath your feet. Modern day science tells us that there's layers, there's crust, there's the hot magma, and there's even a core in the center of the earth. But not everyone is convinced that's true. You probably think this is crazy because it goes against everything we've ever learned about Earth. But just wait until you hear this. In 1947, Richard Byrd flew over the North Pole. Byrd reported seeing mysterious land just above the North Pole and even said that it was the center of the unknown. He even reported seeing lots of grass areas where none should have been where he was flying. He described it as a completely different world. It's also reported that when his task force arrived, they saw this huge hole in the center of the Earth and they saw an advanced civilization beneath it. Here is where things get serious. When he arrived back to the United States, he was asked to go to Washington. He was questioned very heavily by the government from the claims he was making, and he was asked to stop talking about it. So are aliens light years away in our universe? Or could they possibly be just beneath your feet?
The Simpsons predicted 2021. So a few years ago, an episode broadcast on The Simpsons which showed all kinds of riots and crazy events going on at Capitol Hill in Washington. Now, of course, at the very beginning of this year, what happened? Riots at Capitol Hill. They predicted it. They even predicted certain events that happened on this day, such as monuments being stolen. Like what? How? Right, next up, and this is absolutely mental. So of course you know about the electoral college votes which determine who the new president's going to be. Now, a few years ago, The Simpsons broadcast this episode which showed the votes. And it is identical, exactly identical to the voting this year. Like, what the hell? A 2000s episode showed billionaires such as Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, all of these people going up into space. And of course, this year, well, it's actually happened. How?
I talked about The Simpsons before, but probably not in this conspiracy series. The conspiracy series. Kind of like conspiracy theories, but it's conspiracy series. The conspiracy theories series. Stupid. Yeah, I've talked about The Simpsons before, and I think when you make that many episodes, you're bound to get some stuff right, because how much stuff has The Simpsons gotten wrong? I also think, like, you know, they have a whole writer's room, they have researchers, and they have people that are paid to keep their thumb on the pulse of the world and what's going on, and so that they can remain topical. It's not like Richard Branson just decided, I'm going to go to space, and the next week he did it. It was a long, drawn-out thing, and something like that can be, they could announce that he's going to go to space next year, and then they can, probably not that big of a deal because he doesn't do it, but then once he does it, it's, front page news. But The Simpsons heard about it when he was first announced that he was going to do it, so they put it in the episode, so it looks like they predicted it. And then I feel like sometimes people will make videos with like, oh, The Simpsons predicted this, but then if you go look it up, actually, The Simpsons are talking about that thing that came out after the thing happened, and they're parodying it in their episode. But then sometimes not. Sometimes they actually do predict that stuff, and it's weird. Like, I think the Trump election, I think they predicted that he was going to run, and they did the thing down the escalator. But then they might have done the escalator thing after that actually happened. I don't know. I'm not an expert on The Simpsons, but I've seen a lot of these videos, so.
Strangest Unsolved Mysteries from Every U.S. State, Part 42, Montana. Just outside of the Glacier National Park in Montana, there's a location where the laws of nature don't really seem to apply. At that location, the gravity is so strange that the trees always grow sideways, and the people who are there appear so much shorter than they actually are. In addition, if you place a marble at the bottom of a steep hill, it will begin to roll up the hill. And if you drop a rope from the ceiling, it will fall on a curve instead of just straight down. Today, the location is a popular tourist attraction, and many people come from all over just to experience its strangeness.
Wild conspiracy theories that are either totally true or straight up dumb. Part 1. In Southeast Europe, there lies a country named Bosnia. A group of complex hills can be found there that have come to be known as the Bosnian Pyramids. Now, they appear to look very similar to the well-known pyramids of Egypt. Now, scientists claim that the hills are just naturally triangular shaped and not man-made at all. However, some wild theorists have started to claim that the hills are in fact man-made with the help of extraterrestrial beings. Pretty wild, right? And comment down below and let me know what you think of these.
Strangest unsolved cases from around the world, England. On April 18th, 1943, 4 boys were searching for birds' nests when they looked inside a hollowed wych elm, and what they saw staring back at them was a human skull. Investigators would find a skeleton, a wedding ring, and a shoe, and inside the skull's mouth was a crumpled up piece of taffeta, suggesting she died by suffocation. And then in 1944, the graffiti began, suggesting that someone knew who she was, and it's been theorized she was killed because she was a spy and it was wartime, or that witches sacrificed her in a ritual. But to this day, no one knows who she is or who killed her.
Paul McCartney died in 1966 and was replaced by an imposter according to this theory. The gist of the theory is that on November 9th, 1966, after an argument during a Beatles recording session, Paul went speeding off in a car and ended up in a car accident resulting in his death. Then the UK agency MI5 had him replaced with a lookalike. The reason he was replaced was because of fears of mass hysteria and suicide if the news broke. Over the years, the Beatles felt bad about the cover-up and decided to leave clues in their album covers and songs. On the famous cover of Abbey Road where the Beatles are crossing a street, people came up with the theory that it's a funeral procession. John dressed in white is the preacher. Ringo dressed in black is the undertaker. George is dressed in blue jeans because he is the gravedigger. And Paul is wearing a black suit like a corpse. He is also out of step with the others and barefoot, which is a sign of mourning in Sicily. In his right hand is a cigarette that's pointing towards the ground, and in the 1960s, cigarettes were known as coffin nails in the UK, representing that the real Paul is in a coffin in the ground. That is just one of the many clues that have been found since this theory began in 1969.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I met him one time, either Paul or the clone or whoever. He was a very nice guy. He didn't seem like a clone. I guess a replacement was that theory, not really a clone. But I've heard the theory that he's a clone, too. So, yeah, maybe. I don't think we'll ever know on that one. That one song being played in reverse, it sounds like it says Paul is dead. That is pretty weird. I'll give him that. What do you guys think? You think Paul McCartney died in a car crash and they replaced him with a lookalike? He's been living in Paul McCartney. Well, how lucky would that lookalike be? Imagine you're just a dude that just looks like a guy in a band, and then they like secretly come to you and they're like, hey, we want you to just take that guy's place. You can have all his money, all his cars, all his homes, everything. You can tour, but you can play in his spot in the band. You just have to not tell anybody. Pretend you're just going to take over his life. You go from being an accountant or whatever to being the first iteration of a rock star. What a come up for that guy. I would just like the U.S. government to know if they need me to replace anyone in a world famous band. I would just like the U.S. government to know if they need me to replace anyone in BTS or any other K-pop band for that matter. You know, I'm down. I'll do it. As long as I get their bank account. Actually, maybe not K-pop. That might not be a good idea. I hear it's pretty rough for those kids.
Here's the mystery of the Umbrella Man. Okay, so this is kind of like a part 2 to the one that I posted yesterday about the babushka lady, because they're essentially the same thing, but it's a little bit of a quirk. The date is November 22nd, 1963, the date that JFK was assassinated. JFK's motorcade passes through Dealey Plaza. Standing on this side is the babushka lady, like I said yesterday. However, on the other side of the road is a man holding an umbrella. He was given the pseudonym Umbrella Man. It's normal to have an umbrella, but not on a bright and sunny day where it was 70 degrees in Dallas, Texas. And here we go, where things get weird. Right as JFK's motorcade was about to pass, the Umbrella Man opened his umbrella. Some people believe that this is a signal for the first shooter to shoot, and it is presumed that this is Lee Harvey Oswald. And right when JFK passed him, the Umbrella Man panned his umbrella from east to west, which would have been clockwise. And then right after that, the President of the United States was assassinated. As the motorcade sped away, the Umbrella Man sat down on the sidewalk with another man, and then got up and went to the Texas School Book Depository. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Umbrella Man had something to do with it, but I do know, I've been to that Daily Square or whatever it is in Dallas, and looks like a hard shot to make. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is why you should never go hiking on Dead Mountain. Be warned, this is one of the most scariest true stories ever told. And even to this day, 60 years later, remains one of the most unsolved mysteries ever. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. The year is 1959 at the height of the Cold War. 9 Soviet university students decided to go hiking in the frozen Siberia. So as they're hiking, families start to get worried because they have not heard from their loved one. They send a team out to search for them, and they find their campsite on the height of Dead Mountain. Here's where the conspiracy theories come. Their bodies, all of them, were found in the most random places on this mountain. And even scarier than that, every single one of these people you see were found undressed. And a couple of them were found with their eyes and tongue cut out. Some people believe that these people may have found a military weapon and the Soviets killed them. Some people believe this was some kind of UFO incident. And some people believe that this was some kind of Yeti attack because all of their stuff on the campground was untouched.
Yeah, all of their, I don't know about all their stuff being untouched. Seems like it was all still there, but all their stuff was left in really weird conditions too. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, they said their tent was cut from the inside, which I don't know how they would know that, but I'm sure they had a way to tell. And then, yeah, some of their bones were like crushed, and they were all found in really weird circumstances. And like none of their deaths really made sense. They were all also really experienced hikers, and they knew, how to take care of themselves out in the Siberian tundra. But alas, something happened out there. I don't know, it's one of the most curious cases to me. The Dyatlov Pass is super interesting. Most likely they got hypothermia. I think you start taking your clothes off when you get hypothermia. I think it's one of the last. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember exactly. I could be switching that up with something else other than hypothermia. But it seems like one of the last things you experience with hypothermia before you die is getting really hot and you take off all your clothes. Yeah, super interesting stuff. I'm sure you guys have all heard of that. If you have any theories on the Dyatlov Pass incident, let me know in the comments, obviously. And if you haven't, let me know what you think of it. It's a weird one. There's plenty of, good content and videos and documentaries on the Dyatlov Pass incident, though. That's such a famous one. There are other things that are called like the Dyatlov Pass of so-and-so or whatever. So yeah, sounds crazy.
Unsolved Mysteries Part 1. In 2011, divers were searching the Baltic Sea when they came around this big, huge rock circular formation. It was said to have stairs and even creepy entranceways. Some believe it's some type of experimental ship from World War II. Strangely, it's made out of magnesium, iron, and titanium. And there's a strange 40 megahertz signal coming from around it. Could it be aliens? Could it be our ancient ancestors' technology? Scientists still don't know to this day, and it baffles them. What do you guys think it is?
I think it's fake. What do you want from me? It looks fake as hell. I'm looking at the video now, and it looks super fake. Go rewind. Go look at it yourself. It looks like a fucking drawing. It looks real.
This is the conspiracy theory that Britney Spears was working for President George Bush. Basically, anytime George Bush had a scandal, Britney would do something crazy that would cover it up. On January 5th, 2004, President Bush was trying to distance himself from the Valerie Plame scandal. So Britney had a wild 55-hour marriage to Jason Alexander. April 11th, 2006, Bush's approval ratings hit an all-time low of 38%, mainly due to the Iraq War. Instead, the news is covering Britney's visits from child welfare. February 2007, President Bush announced the reformation of Al-Qaeda, who he promised to hunt down and eliminate after 9/11. Enter the famous Britney meltdown. If you look into this more, you'll see a few more examples. So, was she forced to do this by the government? Did she work for Bush? Or does this just show America's obsession with pop culture over government issues?
We should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just support that, and be faithful in what happens.
So tier 4. Very few people know about this conspiracy. Today we're going to be talking about artificial poisonous snow. To sum up what this means, this conspiracy believes that the government is creating artificial snow to control the population. The most common state in the United States that it snows in is New Hampshire. It snows in New Hampshire 118.5 days on average per year. You know what the most leading cause of death is in New Hampshire? Cancer. Some people might be confused, but if we take a look at the top 10 states in the United States that it snows in, the most common leading cause of death is heart disease or cancer, leaving people to speculate that they're creating artificial poisonous snow to control the population. About 7 years ago, a video circulated of a man putting a snowball on a grill and trying to get it to melt, but instead of melting, the entire snow turned black. One man in 2014 posted a blog post of him trying to burn a snowball with a lighter. He then goes on to say that the snowball burnt like plastic. He then later said that he thought it could have been the butane from the lighter, so he put his snowball on the kitchen table. Over the course of the next few days, the snowball never melted and water never leaked out. 1 year later, the man allegedly took his own life, leaving people to speculate that the government thought he knew too much. This conspiracy theory might seem far-fetched for some, but in 1967, the US opened a secret project called Operation Popeye. Operation Popeye was the study of weather warfare. The results of the experiment allegedly created 35 inches of rain in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, but President Nixon, all the way up to his death, denied the project ever existed. Then later in 1977, the UN banned all weather warfare. If weather warfare never even existed at that time, why would the UN feel the need to ban it? So do you think the snow is 100% natural, or do you think the government is hiding a much darker secret about what happened at Operation Popeye?
Damn. I mean, I've long believed the government had weather modification capabilities. I think they use it. I don't think it's that nefarious. I mean, that obviously was crazy nefarious, but I think generally, I think they might be like, oh, it's dry over here. Let's throw some rain on it. Then, no, after thinking about it for about 3 seconds, nothing the government does isn't nefarious. So, yeah, they're probably using that for their own gains in other places. Yeah, the snow, man, I do remember seeing that snowball video, the guy that couldn't melt the snowball. I didn't know the last part about how that turned out a year later, but it's really sad. If you live in New Hampshire, it's cold right now, it's probably snowing right now. Go outside and melt some snow for me, and let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments. If you can, take a video, send it to me. I'll put it in one of my videos. I'll react to it. Yeah, trippy stuff, man.
Here's the mystery of the Pearl Harbor ghost plane. The date is December 8th, 1942. It's exactly 1 year and 1 day after Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, which, if you don't know, is a naval base in Hawaii. A naval officer noticed that there was an unidentified aircraft moving in from the west. In other words, Pearl Harbor looked to be under attack again. Multiple fighter planes were then deployed to intercept the target. When they got into the air, they noticed that it wasn't a Japanese bomber. Instead, it was a United States P-40 Warhawk, aka the exact same model plane used to defend Pearl Harbor from the Japanese a year prior. They were decommissioned in 41. Only something about this one was off. These are the exact quotes from the fighter pilots tasked to intercept. All of the pilots stated that the plane was, quote, shot to shit. There were bullet holes all over the wings. The main rotor wasn't spinning. 2 of the pilots claimed that they got a good look at the person flying the Warhawk. They said that the pilot was, quote, certainly dead, and that he couldn't have been flying the plane. The plane then crash landed. The pilot in question was nowhere to be found.
Dang, that's crazy. Imagine flying out to defend against what you think is about to be another attack on your country, and then it's just a ghost plane? That's wild. There you have it, folks. That is another compilation of conspiracy TikToks in the books. We did it, we done it, we're doing it some more. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure and check out the entire playlist. I'll put it in the description below. And if you like creepy TikToks, go check out those playlists too. I'll throw them on the screen over here. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, but definitely subscribe. I feel like a lot of you aren't doing that still. I appreciate you watching, but subscribing is also free, so you can do that. You could also buy some merch. Merch Shop's live, you can go check that out. And if you like audiobooks, check out the link in the bottom of the description of this video for a free 30-day trial to Audible. I love Audible, I use audiobooks like every day, and yeah, you can get it for free and then cancel and they'll still pay me. I don't care if you cancel, I only get the $5, so go check it out. Pretty sure most of you have clicked out of the video by now, but if you haven't, you're the best and I appreciate you. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget, every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and members only for Mondays at 4:15 p.m. PST. I'll see you there. Until next time, seek the truth.